Chapter 1. Early Life. Leonardo da Vinci, a name that echoes through history as a symbol of creativity and genius, was born in the small town of Vinci in the heart of Italy in 1452. His story begins not in the grandeur of palaces or the buzz of big cities, but in the quiet, picturesque hills of Tuscany. Vinci, a place of simple beauty, was surrounded by nature, a factor that played a crucial role in shaping young Leonardo's curious mind. The child Leonardo was not born into wealth or prestige. His father, Ser Piero, was a respected notary, and his mother, Caterina, was a peasant woman. This unconventional beginning marked him as an outsider from the start, in a society where lineage and legitimate birth were highly valued. Despite these humble beginnings, Leonardo showed early signs of immense talent. He was fascinated by the world around him, spending hours observing nature, sketching landscapes, and trying to understand how things worked. His inquisitive nature was evident in his constant questioning and exploration. Nature was Leonardo's first classroom, where he learned to observe keenly and think deeply, skills that would later define his work as an artist and a scientist. His surroundings in Vinci, with its rivers, hills, and diverse flora and fauna, were his sources of inspiration and learning. Leonardo's education began at home. Unlike many of his contemporaries, he did not receive a formal education in Latin or Greek, the languages of scholars, as he was an illegitimate child. However, this did not hinder his intellectual growth. Leonardo was taught reading, writing, and arithmetic, essential tools that he used to document his observations and ideas. His father, recognizing his son's artistic potential, decided to send him to Florence to apprentice under the renowned artist Andrea del Verrocchio. This decision marked a turning point in Leonardo's life, opening the doors to the world of art, culture, and knowledge in Florence, the cradle of the Renaissance. As a child in Vinci, Leonardo's creativity was nurtured by his surroundings and circumstances. His early experiences in the rural landscape of Vinci, coupled with the initial education he received, sowed the seeds of his future greatness. His story is not just about the birth of a genius, but also about the making of one. From the very beginning, Leonardo was different. His illegitimate birth, his insatiable curiosity, and his natural talent set him apart from his peers. These early years in Vinci were crucial in shaping the man who would go on to paint the Mona Lisa, conceptualize flying machines, and delve into the mysteries of the human anatomy. Leonardo's journey from the small town of Vinci to the grand stages of Milan and Florence is a testament to his extraordinary talent and unquenchable thirst for knowledge. In these early chapters of his life, we see the emergence of a mind that would forever change our understanding of art, science, and the world. Leonardo da Vinci's journey into the realms of art and knowledge began in his early years, marked by a unique blend of self-taught wisdom and informal tutelage. Living in Vinci, a town devoid of the grand libraries and schools of the larger cities, Leonardo's education was unconventional, yet it laid the foundation for his unparalleled genius. His early education was not in the hallowed halls of academia, but under the vast, open sky of his hometown. Here Leonardo's keen observation skills were honed as he absorbed the details of the world around him, the way leaves rustled in the wind, the patterns of birds in flight, the play of light and shadow. His first lessons in art and science came from nature itself. Leonardo was not initially trained in the classical texts that formed the core of traditional education in that era. Instead, his learning was hands-on, tactile, and visual. He learned to read and write, of course, but his true passion lay in watching, understanding, and creating. His father, noticing Leonardo's penchant for drawing, provided him with paper, a luxury at the time, to sketch. These early sketches were Leonardo's first steps into the world of art, a world where he would eventually leave an indelible mark. As he grew, Leonardo's talents became impossible to ignore. He was more than just a curious child. He was a budding artist with an extraordinary eye for detail. Recognizing this, his father took a bold step. He arranged for Leonardo to apprentice in Florence under Andrea del Verrocchio, one of the most respected artists of the time. This apprenticeship was Leonardo's gateway into formal education in art. In Verrocchio's workshop, Leonardo was exposed to a wide array of skills and techniques. He learned about painting, sculpting, and even engineering. Here, among pigments and palettes, chisels and canvases, Leonardo found his calling. Verrocchio's workshop was not just a place of artistic endeavour. It was a melting pot of ideas, where conversations on art mingled with discussions on science, philosophy, and mechanics. This environment was perfect for a mind like Leonardo's, eager to absorb and connect disparate fields of knowledge. In this vibrant atmosphere, Leonardo's talents flourished. He was not content with merely learning the techniques of art. He sought to understand the science behind it. His studies in anatomy began here, driven by his desire to paint the human form with unparalleled realism. In Florence, under Verrocchio's guidance, Leonardo transformed from a talented boy into a skilled artist. He worked on various projects, learning the intricacies of artistic creation and the importance of meticulous observation. These years were pivotal in shaping Leonardo da Vinci, the artist, the scientist, the inventor. His early education, both in the natural classroom of Vinci and the artistic haven of Florence, was the crucible in which one of history's greatest minds was forged. Leonardo's journey in these years is a testament to the power of curiosity and the enduring impact of a non-traditional path to learning. Chapter 2: Apprenticeship. The story of Leonardo da Vinci, a burgeoning genius, takes a pivotal turn as he steps into the bustling city of Florence, a stark contrast to his quiet life in Vinci. Here, in the heart of the Italian Renaissance, young Leonardo is about to embark on a journey that will forever change the course of art history. His destination is the renowned workshop of Andrea del Verrocchio, a master artist and sculptor whose influence on the young Da Vinci cannot be overstated. This moment marks the beginning of Leonardo's formal training, a period that would lay the foundation for his extraordinary body of work. Verrocchio's workshop was a centre of creativity and innovation, a place where the arts and sciences converged. It was here that Leonardo was first exposed to the technical aspects of painting and sculpture, as well as the mechanical arts. Under Verrocchio's tutelage, Leonardo's innate talents and insatiable curiosity found a new direction and purpose. The workshop was bustling with activity, filled with apprentices and master craftsmen working on a variety of projects. For Leonardo, this was a new world, a place where he could learn, experiment and grow. Verrocchio, known for his meticulous approach to art, was an ideal mentor for Leonardo. He emphasized the importance of careful observation and detailed work, principles that resonated deeply with the young apprentice. Leonardo was not just learning to paint or sculpt, he was learning to see the world in a new way. He was taught how to mix paints, prepare canvases, and the techniques of fresco and tempera. These skills, combined with his natural talent, allowed Leonardo to develop his unique style, one that would later revolutionize Renaissance art. One of the most significant aspects of Leonardo's apprenticeship was his exposure to anatomy and the human form. Verrocchio encouraged his apprentices to study the human body, to understand its structure and movement. This knowledge was crucial in creating realistic and dynamic art. Leonardo, with his unending thirst for knowledge, delved deeply into these studies, laying the groundwork for his later anatomical explorations. During his time in Verrocchio's workshop, Leonardo also had the opportunity to collaborate with other artists, including Sandro Botticelli and Pietro Perugino. This collaborative environment fostered a culture of learning and exchange, where ideas were freely shared and explored. It was in this stimulating atmosphere that Leonardo began to emerge not just as a skilled craftsman, but as an artist with a distinct voice and vision. Leonardo's years at Verrocchio's workshop were transformative. He entered as a talented boy from Vinci and left as a skilled artist, ready to make his mark on the world. His apprenticeship was more than just training. It was a period of intellectual and creative awakening. The skills and knowledge he acquired here would fuel his later works, from the Mona Lisa to his anatomical drawings. This chapter of Leonardo's life is a testament to the power of mentorship and the transformative impact of a nurturing learning environment. In the vibrant atmosphere of Verrocchio's workshop, amidst the clink of sculpting tools and the rustle of paintbrushes, young Leonardo da Vinci began to craft his first masterpieces, leaving indelible marks of his emerging genius. This period of his life was not just about learning, it was about creating, experimenting, and discovering his unique voice in the world of art. Leonardo's early works, crafted under the watchful eyes of his mentor Verrocchio, were a blend of his master's influence and his own growing artistic identity. His first significant contributions were not solo projects but collaborations, where he added his touch to the work started by his teacher. One of the most notable of these early works was the painting of the angel in Verrocchio's Baptism of Christ. Leonardo's contribution to this piece was so remarkable that, according to legend, Verrocchio, upon seeing the young apprentice's skill, vowed never to paint again. Leonardo's angel stood out for its lifelike qualities and the delicate way he rendered the angel's hair and the translucent wings. This was more than just an assistant's work, it was a declaration of a new powerful artistic presence. During his apprenticeship, Leonardo also started developing his own projects. His early drawings and sketches, filled with meticulous details and innovative designs, showed a mind that was constantly observing and questioning the world around it. These sketches were not just art, they were studies of life, nature, and mechanics. He sketched landscapes, human faces, and various natural phenomena, displaying an acute attention to detail and a deep understanding of the subjects he portrayed. Leonardo's time in the workshop was also a period of technical learning and skill development. He mastered the use of light and shadow, a technique known as chiaroscuro, which later became a hallmark of his style. He experimented with perspective, giving depth and realism to his paintings. These techniques were not just tools for creating art, they were windows through which Leonardo viewed and interpreted the world. His paintings were not mere representations, they were explorations of reality, light and form. Apart from painting and drawing, Leonardo was also exposed to sculpture and metalwork in Verrocchio's workshop. These experiences broadened his artistic abilities and fed his fascination with mechanical devices. Even at this early stage, Leonardo was not just an artist, he was becoming an inventor and a thinker, whose interests spanned a wide range of fields. Leonardo's early years in Verrocchio's workshop laid the foundation of his lifelong pursuit of knowledge and artistic excellence. The skills he developed here, the techniques he mastered, and the artistic curiosity he nurtured all played a crucial role in his journey to becoming one of the most celebrated artists in history. His early works and learning experiences were stepping stones to his later grand creations, each sketch, each painting, each study contributing to the evolution of a master. These formative years in Florence were not just about Leonardo learning from Verrocchio, they were about the world getting its first glimpse of a genius in the making. Chapter 3, Emerging Artist. As Leonardo da Vinci transitioned from an apprentice to an emerging artist, in his own right, he began to receive commissions, marking the first significant steps in his independent artistic journey. These early commissions were not just jobs, they were opportunities for Leonardo to showcase his unique talents and start building his reputation in the competitive world of Renaissance art. His first independent works were a testament to his mastery of skills learned in Verrocchio's workshop, and a hint of the innovative approaches that would later define his career. One of his early commissions was the Annunciation, a painting that depicts the angel Gabriel's announcement to the Virgin Mary about the birth of Jesus. This work, now housed in the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, displayed Leonardo's growing confidence in handling complex themes and his mastery of depicting human emotions and expressions. The Annunciation is notable for its detailed portrayal of nature, a characteristic that would become a hallmark of Leonardo's work. The painting's background, filled with trees, mountains, and a distant city, showed his deep appreciation and understanding of landscapes. Another significant early work was the Adoration of the Magi, commissioned for the monastery of San Donato a Scopeto, near Florence. Although unfinished, this painting is crucial in understanding Leonardo's artistic evolution. In this work, Leonardo experimented with perspective and composition, arranging figures in a dynamic, almost swirling pattern. This was a departure from the more static compositions of his contemporaries. The adoration of the Magi also showed Leonardo's growing interest in depicting not just the physical world, but the psychological interactions between his subjects. Leonardo's early commissions were not limited to religious themes. He also started to explore secular subjects, as evidenced in his drawings and sketches from this period. These works showed his versatility as an artist and his ability to move between different genres and themes with ease. His sketches from this period, filled with studies of horses, landscapes, and human figures, demonstrated his meticulous observation skills and his relentless pursuit of understanding the world around him. These early commissions and projects were crucial in shaping Leonardo's career. They allowed him to establish himself as an artist of great potential and versatility. More importantly, they provided him with a platform to experiment and explore new ideas and techniques. His approach to these early works, marked by a combination of careful observation, technical mastery, and innovative thinking, laid the groundwork for his later masterpieces. Leonardo's journey as an emerging artist was characterized by a constant quest for knowledge and improvement. Each commission, each project, was an opportunity for him to refine his skills and push the boundaries of traditional art. These early works, while not as famous as his later creations, were integral in the development of Leonardo da Vinci as one of the most extraordinary artists of the Renaissance era. In these initial commissions, the art world began to witness the emergence of a master, one whose works would continue to fascinate and inspire for centuries to come. As Leonardo da Vinci's early commissions brought him recognition, a unique artistic style, distinctly his own, began to emerge. This was a time of exploration and growth for Leonardo, a period where he started to move away from the influences of his mentor Verrocchio and began to create art that was innovative, deeply personal, and reflective of his multifaceted interests. His style, characterized by meticulous attention to detail, a fascination with light and shadow, and a deep understanding of human anatomy, set him apart from his contemporaries and marked him as one of the most forward-thinking artists of his time. Leonardo's approach to painting was revolutionary. He was not content with the rigid and formal styles that dominated Renaissance art. Instead, he sought to capture the essence of his subjects, infusing his paintings with emotion and realism. This was evident in his use of sfumato, a technique he developed to create soft, gradual transitions between colors and tones. This technique gave his paintings a dreamy, almost ethereal quality, a stark contrast to the sharper lines and bolder colors used by other artists of his era. Leonardo's fascination with the human form also deeply influenced his artistic style. His studies in anatomy were not just scientific pursuits, they were integral to his art. He believed that to paint the human body accurately, one must understand its structure and mechanics, and this belief drove him to conduct extensive studies of human muscles, bones, and organs. The knowledge he gained from these studies allowed him to portray the human body with unprecedented accuracy and detail. His figures were not just representations. They were living, breathing beings, each with their own emotions and stories. Another key element of Leonardo's style was his incorporation of nature into his works. He saw the natural world as a source of endless inspiration and a key to understanding the universe. His landscapes were not just backdrops for his figures, they were integral parts of the narrative, full of life and movement. He observed and sketched plants, water and rock formations, understanding their structures and patterns. These observations translated into his paintings, where nature was rendered with the same care and detail as his human subjects. Leonardo's developing style was also marked by his curiosity and innovative spirit. He experimented with new materials and techniques, constantly pushing the boundaries of what was possible in art. His notebooks were filled with sketches and ideas, some of which were so ahead of their time that they were not realized until centuries later. Leonardo's style was a reflection of his mind, curious, analytical, and unbound by convention. As Leonardo's style evolved, so did his reputation. He was no longer just another artist from Florence. He was becoming a master in his own right, recognized for his unique approach to painting and his deep understanding of the world around him. His style, a blend of scientific precision, artistic brilliance, and a deep appreciation for nature, set the stage for his later masterpieces and cemented his place as one of the greatest artists of the Renaissance. In developing his unique style, Leonardo da Vinci was not just creating art, he was changing the course of art history. Chapter 4. The Florence Period. During Leonardo da Vinci's time in Florence, a city bustling with artistic and intellectual energy, he created some of his most influential works, pieces that not only showcased his immense talent, but also his innovative approach to art. This period in Florence was a time of great creativity and exploration for Leonardo, and it was here that he truly began to leave his mark on the world of art. One of the most significant works from this period was the Baptism of Christ, which he painted with his mentor Andrea del Verrocchio. Leonardo's contribution to this painting, particularly the angel he painted, was so impressive that it is said to have made Verrocchio decide to never paint again. Leonardo's angel was praised for its lifelike quality and the masterful way he rendered the figure. Another masterpiece from his time in Florence is the Annunciation. In this painting, Leonardo's skills as both an artist and a scientist shine through. The painting is noted for its detailed depiction of the angel Gabriel and the Virgin Mary, set against a backdrop of a meticulously rendered landscape. The work displays Leonardo's deep understanding of perspective and his ability to capture the subtleties of human emotion. Also from this period is the unfinished yet highly acclaimed Adoration of the Magi, commissioned for the monastery of San Donato a Scopeto. This painting showcases Leonardo's bold approach to composition and his experimentation with perspective. The painting is bustling with figures and displays a dynamic use of space, a testament to Leonardo's innovative spirit and his desire to push the boundaries of traditional art. Leonardo's time in Florence was also marked by his detailed anatomical studies, which greatly influenced his artistic work. His deep understanding of the human body is evident in his sketches and paintings from this period. These studies not only improved his ability to portray the human form realistically, but also revealed his insatiable curiosity about the world around him. During these years, Leonardo also began to gain recognition as a master in his own right. His innovative techniques, deep understanding of human anatomy, and his meticulous attention to detail set him apart from his contemporaries. His works from this period were not just paintings, they were explorations of nature, human emotion, and the principles of science. The Florence period was a crucial time in Leonardo's artistic journey. It was here that he honed his skills, developed his unique style, and created works that would go on to influence generations of artists. His works from this time reflect his incredible talent, his innovative spirit, and his relentless pursuit of knowledge. This period in Florence was not just about the art he created. It was about the artist he was becoming, an artist who would forever change the course of Renaissance art and leave a lasting legacy in the world of art history. Florence during the Renaissance was a bustling hub of art, culture, and science, and it was in this stimulating environment that Leonardo da Vinci spent a significant and transformative period of his life. In Florence, Leonardo found himself in the midst of a thriving artistic community, surrounded by great minds and immense creativity. This period was not just about the art he created, but also about the influences and experiences that shaped him as an artist and a thinker. Florence was a city alive with new ideas and perspectives, and it was here that Leonardo's talents and interests fully blossomed. In Florence, Leonardo was exposed to a wide array of influences. He interacted with other artists, thinkers, and patrons who played crucial roles in his development. Among them was Lorenzo de' Medici, also known as Lorenzo the Magnificent, a key figure in Florence's political and cultural life. The Medici court was a centre for artists and scholars, and Leonardo likely had opportunities to engage with the leading minds of his time through this connection. These interactions broadened his perspectives and exposed him to a range of ideas and disciplines. The artistic environment in Florence was highly competitive, yet it was also collaborative and inspiring. Leonardo was in the company of artists like Sandro Botticelli, Domenico Ghirlandaio, and later Michelangelo and Raphael. This environment of artistic rivalry and mutual inspiration was crucial for Leonardo's development. He was challenged to refine his techniques and to develop new and innovative approaches to art. Leonardo's life in Florence was also a time of personal exploration and growth. Away from the confines of his apprenticeship, he had the freedom to explore his diverse interests. He delved into studies of nature, mechanics, and anatomy, pursuits that were fueled by the vibrant intellectual atmosphere of the city. Florence was not just a place for him to grow as an artist, but also as a scientist and inventor. His notebooks from this period, filled with sketches and observations, reflect a mind that was constantly inquiring and exploring. However, Leonardo's life in Florence was not without challenges. He struggled with unfinished projects and the pressures of patron expectations. Despite these challenges, his time in Florence was a period of immense creativity and growth. His experiences in the city helped to shape his approach to art and life, fostering a sense of curiosity and a relentless pursuit of knowledge. Leonardo's years in Florence were fundamental in shaping the artist and the man he would become. The city, with its rich culture and intellectual vitality, provided the perfect backdrop for his talents to flourish. It was here that Leonardo's unique style and approach to art were honed, and his reputation as a master began to take root. Florence was more than just a home for Leonardo. It was a crucible that forged one of the greatest minds of the Renaissance. Chapter 5: Milan and the Sforzas. Leonardo da Vinci's journey took a significant turn when he decided to leave Florence and move to Milan, a decision driven by a combination of ambition, the search for new opportunities, and the complex political and social climate of the time. Milan, under the rule of Ludovico Sforza, known as Il Moro, offered a new world of possibilities for Leonardo. This move marked a new chapter in his life, one that would significantly impact his career and legacy. Leonardo's decision to move to Milan was partly influenced by the changing political landscape in Florence. The Medici family, his patrons, had been expelled from Florence, leading to a less stable environment for artists. Leonardo, seeking stability and new patronage, saw Milan as a land of opportunity. Moreover, he was drawn to the idea of serving in a court, a prestigious position that offered both financial security and creative freedom. Upon arriving in Milan, Leonardo took an unconventional approach. He wrote a letter to Ludovico Sforza, outlining his skills not just as an artist, but also as an engineer and inventor. In this letter, he described his abilities in designing buildings, bridges, and even weapons. Leonardo was selling himself as a Renaissance man, capable of contributing to the Sforza court in a multitude of ways. This letter showcased Leonardo's keen strategic mind and his understanding of the importance of versatility in securing a place in a court. Ludovico Sforza, impressed by Leonardo's wide range of skills, welcomed him into the Milanese court. Here, Leonardo found a new world of artistic and intellectual challenges. He was commissioned to work on various projects ranging from painting and sculpture to designing military fortifications and canals. This environment allowed Leonardo to explore his diverse interests and apply his talents in new and innovative ways. Leonardo's initial years in Milan were marked by a significant shift in his artistic output. He began to focus more on large-scale projects and less on smaller paintings. One of his first major tasks was to create a monumental equestrian statue in honor of Francesco Sforza, Ludovico's father. Although the statue was never completed, it was a testament to Leonardo's ambition and his desire to push the boundaries of traditional art forms. Milan also provided Leonardo with a stable environment to continue his scientific and anatomical studies. The court's resources and the city's vibrant intellectual atmosphere were conducive to his research. In Milan, Leonardo's interests in anatomy, mechanics, and nature flourished, and he made significant progress in his studies. Leonardo's move to Milan was a strategic decision that opened new avenues for his artistic and intellectual growth. In Milan, under the patronage of the Sforzas, Leonardo was able to pursue his diverse interests and apply his talents in a variety of fields. This period was crucial in expanding his horizons and cementing his status as one of the most versatile and innovative minds of the Renaissance. Milan was not just a new home for Leonardo. It was a place that challenged and inspired him, shaping his career in profound ways. In Milan, under the patronage of Ludovico Sforza, Leonardo da Vinci found himself in a world of new possibilities, challenges, and inspirations. Working for Sforza, a powerful and ambitious ruler, Leonardo embarked on some of his most significant projects and showcasing his diverse talents as an artist, engineer and thinker. At the Milanese court, Leonardo was not just a painter, he was a true polymath, engaged in a wide array of activities that spanned from artistic creation to scientific inquiry. One of Leonardo's most renowned projects during this period was The Last Supper, a masterpiece of Renaissance art commissioned for the convent of Santa Maria delle Grazie. This painting, depicting the moment Jesus announces that one of his disciples will betray him, is celebrated for its dramatic composition, emotional depth, and innovative use of perspective. Leonardo's approach to this work was meticulous and groundbreaking, as he experimented with new techniques in painting and composition, striving to create a work that was both visually stunning and emotionally powerful. In addition to his artistic endeavors, Leonardo was deeply involved in various engineering projects for the Duke. He designed military machines, bridges and fortifications, applying his inventive mind to the practical challenges of the day. His notebooks from this period are filled with sketches and designs ranging from war chariots to flying machines, reflecting his boundless curiosity and innovative spirit. These projects, though not all realized, showcased Leonardo's ability to think far ahead of his time and his unique approach to problem-solving. Leonardo's time in Milan was also a period of intense scientific study. He continued his anatomical research, delving deeper into the workings of the human body. His dissections and studies in Milan laid the foundation for his later anatomical drawings, which are celebrated for their accuracy and insight. Leonardo's interest in science was not limited to anatomy. He also studied botany, geology, and hydraulics, driven by a desire to understand the natural world in all its complexity. Life at the Milanese court also had its challenges. Leonardo had to navigate the intricacies of court politics and the whims of his patron. Despite these challenges, he found a degree of stability and freedom in Milan that allowed him to pursue his diverse interest. The court was a place of intellectual stimulation and creative exploration, where Leonardo could engage with other artists, thinkers and scholars. Working for Ludovico Sforza in Milan was a defining period in Leonardo's life and career. It was here that he created some of his most memorable works and deepened his studies in science and engineering. His years at the Milanese court were not just about serving a powerful patron. They were about expanding the boundaries of art and knowledge. In Milan, Leonardo da Vinci continued to grow as an artist and a thinker, further establishing his legacy as one of the most extraordinary minds of the Renaissance. Chapter 6. Inventions and Innovations. Leonardo da Vinci's insatiable curiosity and boundless imagination propelled him beyond the realms of art into the vast and mysterious world of science and anatomy. His fascination with the workings of the natural world led him to explore various scientific fields, making him a true polymath of the Renaissance era. Leonardo's scientific explorations were driven by a deep desire to understand the principles governing the world around him, a quest that took him into uncharted territories of knowledge and discovery. One of the most significant areas of Leonardo's scientific explorations was his study of human anatomy. He was not content with the superficial understanding of the human body common among artists of his time. Instead, he sought a deeper, more comprehensive knowledge. To this end, Leonardo embarked on a series of dissections, delving into the mysteries of the human body with an artist's eye and a scientist's mind. His anatomical studies were groundbreaking, revealing the inner workings of the body with a level of detail and accuracy that was unprecedented. Leonardo's anatomical drawings, from the muscles and bones to the intricate systems of the heart and lungs, were not only scientifically accurate, but also artistically sublime. These studies reflected his belief that art and science were deeply interconnected, that to depict the human body accurately, one must understand its structure and function. His work in anatomy laid the foundation for modern medical illustration and greatly advanced the understanding of human physiology. Leonardo's scientific interests were not confined to anatomy alone. He was deeply fascinated by the forces of nature, particularly the elements of water and air. He studied the flow of rivers, the formation of rocks and the flight of birds with a keen eye trying to decipher the secrets they held. His observations led to the conception of numerous inventions and theories. He sketched designs for machines that sought to harness the power of these elements, including designs for flying machines inspired by the anatomy and flight of birds. His notebooks, filled with sketches, diagrams, and notes, were a testament to his wide-ranging scientific interests. They contained ideas and observations on topics as diverse as optics, mechanics, hydraulics, and geology. These notebooks were not just collections of random thoughts. They were the records of a mind constantly in search of understanding, a mind that saw no boundary between art and science. Leonardo's scientific explorations were far ahead of his time. Many of his theories and inventions were not realized or fully appreciated until centuries later. His approach to science was empirical and observational, relying on direct experience and visual evidence rather than on the accepted authorities of the day. Leonardo da Vinci's forays into the world of science and anatomy were an integral part of his genius. They reflected his unique ability to combine art with science, observation with imagination. His scientific studies, like his art, were driven by a deep sense of wonder and a relentless quest for knowledge. In his exploration of science and anatomy, Leonardo not only deepened his understanding of the world, but also left a lasting legacy that continues to inspire and enlighten. Leonardo da Vinci's mind was a fertile ground for inventive designs, far ahead of his time, blending his deep understanding of science and art into creations that were both innovative and visionary. His notebooks are a treasure trove of ideas and sketches, revealing a mind that saw possibilities where others saw only the impossible. Leonardo's inventions were not just theoretical musings, they were practical solutions to the challenges of his time and bold glimpses into the future of technology. One of Leonardo's most famous inventions is the concept of a flying machine. Inspired by the birds he observed so intently, Leonardo designed several machines to enable human flight. His most notable design, often referred to as the ornithopter, was based on the anatomy and flight mechanism of birds. It featured wings that flapped using a system of pulleys and levers imitating the motion of a bird's wings. Although it was never built or tested in his lifetime, the ornithopter showcased Leonardo's innovative approach to problem-solving and his belief in the potential of human ingenuity. Leonardo also turned his inventive mind to the field of military engineering. He designed a range of war machines, including a tank armored with metal plates and equipped with a series of guns arranged in a circular fashion. This design aimed to provide mobility and protection for soldiers on the battlefield, a concept that was revolutionary for its time. He also conceptualized various types of bridges, siege engines, and even a submarine-like contraption for underwater exploration. These designs, while not realized in his lifetime, reflect his understanding of mechanics and his ability to apply this knowledge to practical problems. Another area where Leonardo's inventiveness shone was in his designs for machines and tools. He conceptualized a variety of machines for use in different industries, such as textile manufacturing. His designs included a loom for weaving and a machine for cutting threads. He also proposed improvements to everyday tools and devices, showcasing his ability to enhance efficiency and functionality in various aspects of life. Leonardo's interest in hydraulics led him to design systems for moving water, a vital resource in his time. He created plans for canal locks, water pumps, and machines for lifting water to higher levels. These designs demonstrated his understanding of fluid dynamics and his ability to harness the power of water for practical uses. Leonardo da Vinci's inventive designs were not just products of a brilliant mind, but also of a keen observer of nature and human needs. His inventions were ahead of his time, often too advanced to be realized with the technology available during his era. They were a blend of art, science, and imagination, reflecting his belief in the power of human creativity to overcome challenges and improve the world. Leonardo's contributions as an inventor were an integral part of his legacy, showcasing a mind that was not confined to the canvas or the sculpture studio, but was constantly exploring, imagining, and creating. His inventive designs are a testament to his genius, a genius that continues to inspire and amaze centuries after his time. Chapter 7. The Last Supper. The Last Supper, one of Leonardo da Vinci's most iconic works, has a fascinating background story, rich in history and artistic vision. Commissioned by Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan, this masterpiece was created for the Dominican convent of Santa Maria delle Grazie in Milan. The commission was part of Sforza's grand plan to renovate the convent and create a family mausoleum, showcasing his power and piety. For Leonardo, this project was not just another commission, it was an opportunity to push the boundaries of traditional art and explore new realms of creativity and expression. The concept of the Last Supper was to depict the dramatic moment during the last meal of Jesus with his disciples, where he announces that one of them would betray him. This scene had been painted many times before, but Leonardo's approach was revolutionary. He chose to capture the immediate reaction of each disciple to Jesus' announcement, creating a dynamic and emotionally charged composition. Each disciple is depicted with a unique reaction ranging from shock and denial to grief and disbelief. This attention to the emotional and psychological dimensions of the scene was a significant departure from the more static and formal depictions common in religious art of the time. Leonardo's choice to paint the Last Supper as a fresco was also a departure from his usual technique. Frescoes were typically painted quickly on wet plaster, a method that was at odds with Leonardo's slow and meticulous approach to painting. However, Leonardo was determined to paint the Last Supper in his own way. He experimented with a new technique, applying a dry plaster base and then painting over it with tempera. This method allowed him more time to work on the painting and to achieve the level of detail and subtlety he desired. The composition of the Last Supper is remarkable for its use of perspective. Leonardo used architectural elements and the placement of the figures to create a sense of depth and space, drawing the viewer's eye towards the central figure of Jesus. This use of perspective was a testament to Leonardo's understanding of mathematics and geometry and his ability to apply these principles to create a harmonious and balanced composition. The Last Supper was more than just a religious painting. It was a reflection of Leonardo's deep understanding of human nature and his mastery of artistic techniques. The commission by Ludovico Sforza provided Leonardo with a canvas to explore new ideas and to challenge the conventions of religious art. The result was a masterpiece that not only fulfilled the Duke's desire for a grand decorative piece, but also pushed the boundaries of art and set new standards for artistic expression. The creation of the Last Supper marked a significant moment in Leonardo's career and in the history of art. It showcased his genius as an artist and a thinker, a man who could combine technical skill with profound insight into the human condition. This iconic work continues to captivate and inspire, a testament to the enduring power of Leonardo da Vinci's vision and creativity. Creating the Last Supper was a task that tested Leonardo da Vinci's skills and ingenuity, as he employed innovative techniques and faced numerous challenges. This iconic mural, painted on the wall of the dining hall at Santa Maria delle Grazie in Milan, required Leonardo to think beyond traditional methods and to overcome various obstacles. One of the most innovative techniques Leonardo used in The Last Supper was his approach to fresco painting. Traditional frescoes were painted quickly on wet plaster, but Leonardo wanted more time to work and to achieve greater detail and depth in his painting. To do this, he experimented with a new method, applying a base of dry plaster and then painting over it with tempera. This technique, while allowing him the flexibility and time he needed, unfortunately led to issues with the painting's durability. Over time, the paint began to flake and deteriorate, a problem that would plague The Last Supper for centuries. Another innovative aspect of Leonardo's approach was his use of perspective. He carefully planned the mural so that the room in which it was painted would appear to be an extension of the depicted scene. This created an immersive experience, drawing viewers into the painting and making them feel as if they were part of the scene. Leonardo's mastery of perspective was also evident in how he arranged the disciples and Jesus, using architectural elements and the placement of figures to create a sense of depth and focus on the central figure of Jesus. The emotional realism in The Last Supper was another area where Leonardo broke new ground. He studied the emotional reactions of real people to depict each disciple's response to Jesus' announcement of his betrayal. This attention to psychological detail and the portrayal of varied human emotions added a dynamic quality to the painting, making it not just a religious scene, but a portrayal of a deeply human experience. However, the creation of The Last Supper was not without its challenges. One of the major issues Leonardo faced was the sheer size of the work. The mural is enormous, covering an entire wall, and painting it required meticulous planning and execution. Additionally, the experimental technique Leonardo used for the fresco contributed to its deterioration. The paint did not adhere well to the wall, leading to flaking and fading over time. Leonardo also faced challenges related to the politics and patronage of the time. Working for Ludovico Sforza meant navigating the complexities of court life and meeting the expectations of a powerful patron. These pressures, combined with Leonardo's perfectionism and tendency to procrastinate, led to delays in the completion of the work. Despite these challenges, The Last Supper remains one of Leonardo da Vinci's most celebrated works, admired for its innovative techniques and emotional depth. The creation of this masterpiece showcases Leonardo's ability to push the boundaries of art, to experiment with new methods and to overcome the obstacles he faced. The Last Supper stands as a testament to Leonardo's genius, a work that continues to inspire awe and admiration for its artistic innovation and its portrayal of one of the most significant moments in Christian narrative. Chapter 8, His Years of Travel. Leonardo da Vinci, renowned as much for his wandering spirit as for his artistic and scientific genius, spent several years travelling across Italy, leaving a trail of creativity and inspiration in his wake. This period of travel was not only a journey through diverse landscapes, but also a journey of intellectual and artistic exploration. During these years, Leonardo visited various Italian cities, each stop contributing to his growth as an artist and a thinker. One of the key destinations during Leonardo's travels was Venice, a city famed for its beauty and unique waterways. In Venice, Leonardo's skills as an engineer and inventor were called upon. He worked on designs for defense and canal systems, applying his understanding of water and mechanics. His time in Venice was a testament to his versatility. He was not just an artist painting canvases, but a problem solver, capable of addressing the practical challenges of the time. Milan was another significant stop in Leonardo's journey. His return to Milan after the fall of Ludovico Sforza saw him engaging in various artistic and scientific pursuits. Leonardo continued working on several projects, including painting and scientific studies. Milan had always been a place of significant achievements for Leonardo, and his return there was marked by a renewed burst of creativity. Leonardo also spent time in Rome, where he was welcomed by Pope Leo X. In Rome, he was surrounded by some of the most illustrious artists of the time, including Michelangelo and Raphael. Here, Leonardo delved deeper into his scientific studies, particularly anatomy. The city's rich artistic atmosphere, however, did not seem to stimulate Leonardo's artistic production as much as his earlier environments had. His time in Rome was more reflective and studious, focused on deepening his understanding of various scientific and mathematical concepts. Another notable phase in Leonardo's travels was his time in Florence. Returning to his roots, Leonardo re-engaged with the Florentine art scene. He worked on various projects, including the never-completed mural The Battle of Anghiari. Florence was a city of significant artistic development for Leonardo, and his return there was like revisiting an old friend, a place that had profoundly shaped his early artistic journey. Throughout his travels, Leonardo maintained his practice of detailed note-taking and sketching. His notebooks from these years are filled with observations, designs, and ideas, reflecting a mind that was constantly observing, learning, and inventing. The variety of landscapes and cultures he encountered during his travels enriched his perspective and influenced his work in numerous ways. Leonardo da Vinci's years of travel across Italy were a crucial part of his life and career. These journeys were not just physical movements from place to place. They were a journey of intellectual growth and artistic exploration. Every city he visited contributed to his development, providing new stimuli, challenges, and opportunities for growth. His travels allowed him to gather a wealth of experiences and insights, which he integrated into his art and scientific studies. These years of wandering reveal the restlessness of Leonardo's genius, always seeking, always learning, and forever leaving a mark on the places and people he encountered. During his travels across Italy, Leonardo da Vinci's reputation as a master artist and ingenious inventor attracted a variety of commissions, allowing him to work on diverse projects that spanned the spectrum of his talents. These commissions were not just opportunities for employment, they were challenges that pushed the boundaries of his skills and creativity, allowing him to explore new ideas and techniques. One of the significant commissions Leonardo received was in Milan for the Sforza family. Here, he was tasked with creating a monumental equestrian statue in honor of Francesco Sforza. This project was an ambitious undertaking, requiring Leonardo to combine his artistic skills with his knowledge of engineering and anatomy. Although the statue was never completed, the preparatory studies and models he created for this project showcased his meticulous approach to design and his understanding of the dynamics of both art and science. In Florence, Leonardo received a commission to paint a mural, The Battle of Anghiari, intended for the Palazzo Vecchio, the city's town hall. This mural was to depict a historic Florentine military victory. Leonardo's approach to this commission was innovative. He experimented with new painting techniques to achieve the desired effect. However, like many of his large-scale projects, this mural was also left unfinished. Despite its incomplete state, the work is remembered for its dynamic composition and the powerful way it conveyed the chaos and energy of battle. During his time in Venice, Leonardo's focus shifted more towards engineering and military defense systems. The Venetian Republic, facing threats from the sea, sought Leonardo's expertise in designing innovative defensive mechanisms. He worked on plans for movable barricades to protect the city from naval attacks, showcasing his ability to apply his inventive mind to practical problems. In Rome, under the patronage of the Medici family and Pope Leo VI, Leonardo's work was varied. He continued his anatomical studies, which were groundbreaking in understanding the human body. These studies, though not a commission in the traditional sense, were crucial in advancing Leonardo's scientific inquiries. He also worked on several smaller art projects and engineering designs during his time in Rome, although none of these projects were on the scale of his earlier works. Throughout his travels, Leonardo also continued his work as a painter, though he completed few paintings during this period. His focus was increasingly on his notebooks, filled with sketches, scientific observations, and ideas for inventions. These notebooks were a testament to the diverse range of his interests, from anatomy and botany to mechanics and geometry. Leonardo da Vinci's varied commissions during his years of travel reflect the breadth of his talents and interests. He was not just an artist painting canvases. He was a scientist making discoveries, an engineer solving problems, and an inventor imagining the future. Each commission, whether completed or not, was a step in his lifelong journey of exploration and creation. These projects, diverse in nature, showcase Leonardo's relentless curiosity and his ability to bring his innovative ideas to a wide range of fields. Chapter 9. Return to Florence. Leonardo da Vinci's return to Florence after his time in Milan marked the beginning of an intriguing chapter in his life, characterized by artistic rivalries and a re-engagement with the Florentine art world. Among the most notable of these rivalries was with Michelangelo Buonarroti, another towering figure of the Renaissance. This rivalry was not just a personal competition, but also a reflection of the vibrant and competitive artistic atmosphere of Florence at the time. When Leonardo returned to Florence, he was an established master, renowned for his artistic and intellectual prowess. However, Florence had changed during his absence. The city was now home to Michelangelo, a young artist who was quickly gaining fame for his remarkable talent. Michelangelo's bold and dynamic style contrasted with Leonardo's more measured and detailed approach, setting the stage for a professional rivalry that would become legendary. The rivalry between Leonardo and Michelangelo was both personal and professional. They were opposites in many ways, in their artistic styles, their temperaments, and their approach to work. Leonardo was known for his meticulous and extensive preparations and his tendency to leave works unfinished, while Michelangelo was celebrated for his speed and the completeness of his works. Their differing methods and personalities led to a mutual lack of understanding and respect, fueling the competitive tension between them. One of the most significant manifestations of this rivalry was the competition for the decoration of the Palazzo Vecchio's council hall. Both artists were commissioned to paint vast murals on opposite walls of the hall. Leonardo chose to depict the Battle of Anghiari, a historic Florentine victory, while Michelangelo was to paint the Battle of Cassina. This project was seen as a direct contest between the two artists, a chance for each to prove his superiority. The competition between Leonardo and Michelangelo extended beyond their art. They were often at odds in public debates and discussions, each defending his own ideas and perspectives. This rivalry was not just a personal matter, it was symbolic of the broader artistic and cultural debates of the time. Despite the competitive nature of their relationship, the rivalry between Leonardo and Michelangelo pushed both artists to new heights of creativity. It challenged them to refine their skills and to articulate their artistic philosophies more clearly. The rivalry also captivated the people of Florence, who were treated to the spectacle of two of the greatest artists of their time competing to create masterpieces. Leonardo's rivalry with Michelangelo during his return to Florence highlights an important aspect of his life and work: his constant engagement with the artistic community and his willingness to challenge and be challenged. This period of rivalry was not just about competition, it was about the exchange of ideas, the clash of styles, and the pursuit of artistic excellence. The rivalry between Leonardo and Michelangelo, two of the most brilliant artists of the Renaissance, remains one of the most fascinating episodes in the history of art. Upon his return to Florence, Leonardo da Vinci, already a celebrated master, embarked on creating several notable works that further cemented his legacy as a genius of the Renaissance. This period was marked by a flurry of artistic activity showcasing Leonardo's ever-evolving style and his continued impact on the art world. One of the key works from this period is the famous painting Mona Lisa, also known as La Gioconda. This enigmatic portrait, believed to be of Lisa Gherardini, the wife of Florentine merchant Francesco del Giocondo, is renowned for its mysterious smile and the innovative techniques Leonardo employed. The Mona Lisa is a testament to Leonardo's mastery of sfumato, the technique of blending colors and tones to create a soft, graduated transition, which gives the painting its dreamlike quality. The portrait's lifelike quality and the subtle emotions it conveys were groundbreaking. The Mona Lisa is not just a portrait, it is a study in psychology, an exploration of character and emotion that continues to captivate viewers centuries later. Another significant work from Leonardo's second Florentine period is the unfinished mural, The Battle of Anghiari. Commissioned for the Palazzo Vecchio, the mural was intended to depict a famous Florentine military victory. Although the mural was never completed, Leonardo's preparatory studies for the painting showcase his skill in depicting dynamic and complex scenes, filled with movement and energy. The mural would have been a monumental work, a testament to Leonardo's abilities as a painter of grand historical narratives. During this time, Leonardo also continued his work in various fields of science and engineering. His studies in anatomy and his designs for various machines and inventions continued to evolve. His notebooks from this period are filled with sketches and notes reflecting a mind that was constantly inquiring and innovating. These scientific and engineering works, although not as famous as his paintings, were crucial in advancing Leonardo's understanding of the world and contributed to his reputation as a polymath. Leonardo's return to Florence was also a time of teaching and collaboration. He took on students and worked with other artists, sharing his knowledge and experience. This was a period of intellectual exchange where Leonardo not only created art, but also contributed to the artistic community in Florence. The works Leonardo created during his return to Florence reflect the breadth of his talents and his unceasing desire to explore and experiment. From the iconic Mona Lisa to the ambitious Battle of Anghiari, and through his scientific studies, Leonardo demonstrated his versatility and his enduring impact on various fields of knowledge. His works from this period are not just artistic achievements. They are milestones in the history of art, reflecting the genius of one of the most extraordinary artists of all time. Chapter 10, The Roman Period. Leonardo da Vinci's Roman period, starting in 1513, marked a distinct phase in his life, characterized by scholarly pursuits and a deepening of his scientific interests. His time in Rome offered a new set of experiences and challenges, as he found himself amidst the city's rich historical and cultural milieu. Invited by Giuliano de' Medici, brother of Pope Leo VI, Leonardo arrived in Rome, a city steeped in ancient history and the center of the Catholic Church. In Rome, Leonardo's focus shifted more towards scientific inquiry and less towards the large-scale artistic projects that had defined his earlier years. He was provided with a studio in the Vatican, a sign of the high regard in which he was held. Here Leonardo continued his anatomical studies, dissecting human and animal bodies to understand their structure and function. These studies were crucial in advancing his knowledge of human anatomy, and the detailed sketches he made during this period are a testament to his meticulous approach and deep curiosity. Leonardo's time in Rome was also marked by his interest in mechanics and hydraulics. He studied the flow of water in rivers and designed various machines for lifting and moving water, applying his skills as an engineer to practical problems. His notebooks from this period are filled with sketches and designs of these machines, reflecting his continuous exploration of the principles of mechanics and fluid dynamics. Despite his scientific and engineering pursuits, Leonardo's stay in Rome was not as artistically productive as his previous years. The artistic environment in Rome was dominated by younger artists like Michelangelo and Raphael, who were at the height of their careers. Leonardo, in his 60s, found himself somewhat overshadowed by these rising stars. However, he was not entirely removed from the art world. He continued to sketch and paint, though on a smaller scale, and his studio became a gathering place for artists, scientists, and thinkers, a testament to his enduring influence and status. Leonardo's life in Rome was quieter and more reflective than his earlier years. He spent much of his time studying and experimenting, away from the public eye. This period was less about creating masterpieces for patrons and more about personal exploration and the pursuit of knowledge. He continued to fill his notebooks with observations, ideas, and reflections, a clear indication of a mind that was never at rest. Leonardo da Vinci's Roman period reflects a shift in focus from the public and grandiose works of art to more private and intellectual pursuits. In Rome, he delved deeper into the mysteries of science and engineering, continuing his lifelong quest for understanding and innovation. This period may not have produced iconic works like the Mona Lisa or the Last Supper, but it was crucial in the development of Leonardo's scientific ideas and theories, which would influence generations to come. His time in Rome was a period of intellectual growth, a testament to his versatility as an artist, scientist, and thinker. During Leonardo da Vinci's Roman period, his artistic endeavors took on a more subdued yet deeply investigative nature, reflecting his ongoing journey as a master, exploring new frontiers. While in Rome, Leonardo's projects and studies were characterized by a blend of scientific inquiry and artistic finesse, rather than the large-scale public works that had marked his earlier years. In Rome, surrounded by the monumental legacy of ancient art and the dynamic works of contemporary artists, Leonardo's focus was primarily on smaller-scale projects and his scientific studies. He continued to sketch and create drawings, but these were more reflective and experimental in nature. These sketches often combined his artistic skills with his scientific interests, such as studies of plants, water flow, and anatomical drawings. Each sketch was a window into Leonardo's mind, revealing his ongoing quest to understand the natural world and the human body. Leonardo's time in Rome also saw him further delve into his anatomical studies, which had become an integral part of his scientific inquiry. He conducted dissections and meticulously documented the human anatomy with an artist's precision and a scientist's curiosity. These studies were not only significant for their contribution to the understanding of human biology, but also for their artistic value. Leonardo's anatomical drawings are renowned for their detail and accuracy, blending art and science in a way that was unprecedented for his time. Another aspect of Leonardo's artistic endeavors in Rome was his exploration of mechanical designs and concepts. His notebooks from this period are filled with designs for various machines and mechanical devices. These include designs for flying machines, water pumps, and other engineering marvels. Leonardo's fascination with mechanics and his ability to conceptualize complex machines were a testament to his genius and his ahead-of-his-time thinking. Despite the quieter nature of his artistic output in Rome, Leonardo remained a respected figure in the artistic community. His studio was a place of gathering for artists, scholars, and thinkers, where ideas were exchanged and discussed. Leonardo's influence extended beyond his own work, impacting the broader artistic and intellectual landscape of Rome. Leonardo's artistic endeavors during his Roman period were reflective of a master at a different stage of his journey. They were less about public recognition and more about personal exploration and the pursuit of knowledge. His projects and studies during this time may not have produced grand works of art, but they were integral to his development as an artist and a scientist. In Rome, Leonardo continued to push the boundaries of both art and science, leaving a legacy that would influence both fields for centuries to come. His time in Rome was a period of intellectual maturity, showcasing the depth and breadth of one of history's greatest minds. Chapter 11. The French Connection. Leonardo da Vinci's later years were marked by a significant shift in his life and career, as he received an invitation that would lead him to France, a move that symbolized both recognition of his immense talent and a new chapter in his extraordinary journey. In 1516, Leonardo, then in his mid-60s, was invited by King Francis I of France, a young and ambitious monarch who was an admirer of Leonardo's work. This invitation was not only a testament to Leonardo's fame and the high regard in which he was held across Europe, but also an opportunity for him to find a new environment that appreciated his talents and offered him the patronage he needed. The invitation to France came at a time when Leonardo was seeking a change. His time in Rome had been intellectually productive, but lacked the patronage and support he had enjoyed in his earlier years in Milan and Florence. The political climate in Italy was also unstable, with shifting alliances and conflicts that made it a less conducive place for his work. France, under the rule of Francis I, presented a more stable and supportive environment, with the king known for his patronage of the arts and his desire to elevate the cultural standing of his court. King Francis I offered Leonardo the title of Premier Painter and Engineer and Architect to the king, a position that came with a generous pension and a residence at the Château de Clou, now known as Clos-Lucé, near the king's residence at the Royal Château d'Amboise. This offer was a clear indication of the king's high regard for Leonardo and his desire to have the renowned artist and thinker at his court. Leonardo's move to France was a significant transition. He left Italy, a country that had been the center of his life and work for over 6 decades, to enter a new cultural and political landscape. In France, he found an environment that was not only welcoming but also deeply respectful of his knowledge and experience. The king treated Leonardo with great esteem, often visiting him at Clos-Lucé and engaging in conversations about art, science, and philosophy. Leonardo's decision to move to France was influenced by a combination of factors: the promise of stable patronage, the recognition of his work, and the opportunity for a peaceful environment in his later years. His acceptance of King Francis I's invitation was a step into a new phase of his life, one that would see him spending his final years in a country that celebrated his genius and provided him with the support and resources to continue his work. Leonardo da Vinci's journey to France was more than a physical relocation. It was a reflection of the enduring appeal and relevance of his work and ideas. In accepting the invitation to France, Leonardo stepped into a new role, serving not just as an artist and scientist, but as a symbol of the cultural and intellectual aspirations of the French court. His move to France was a fitting testament to his lifelong pursuit of knowledge and artistic excellence, marking the final chapter in the life of one of history's most extraordinary figures. Leonardo da Vinci's final years in France, under the patronage of King Francis I, were a period of relative tranquility and respect, offering a dignified conclusion to the life of a remarkable Renaissance master. Residing in the Château de Clos-Lucé near Amboise, Leonardo enjoyed the patronage and admiration of the king, who provided him with the resources and the environment to continue his work and studies. In France, Leonardo's life took on a quieter rhythm compared to the bustling activity of his years in Italy. He was no longer surrounded by the intense artistic rivalries and political upheavals that had characterized much of his life. Instead, he found himself in a more peaceful setting where he could reflect on his vast body of work and continue his explorations in art and science without the pressures of court politics or the demands of numerous patrons. Despite his advancing age and declining health, Leonardo remained intellectually active and continued to work on various projects. He brought with him from Italy 3 of his most famous paintings, the Mona Lisa, St. John the Baptist, and the Virgin and Child with St. Anne. These paintings were not only treasures of his artistic legacy, but also sources of inspiration for his ongoing work. In France, Leonardo had the opportunity to revisit and refine these masterpieces, adding to their depth and complexity. Leonardo's time in France was also marked by continued scientific studies. His notebooks from this period are filled with sketches, inventions, and scientific observations. He continued to explore anatomy, mechanics, and optics, driven by an unquenchable thirst for knowledge and understanding. Leonardo's scientific inquiries were not confined to theoretical studies. He also advised and contributed to various architectural and engineering projects at the king's court. One of Leonardo's significant contributions during his time in France was his advice on the development of the Château de Chambord, one of the most iconic Renaissance buildings in France. Although he was not directly involved in the construction, his influence is evident in the chateau's innovative design and architectural features. Leonardo's relationship with King Francis V was more than just that of an artist and his patron. The king held Leonardo in high esteem, often visiting him at Clos-Lucé and engaging in discussions about art, science, and philosophy. This relationship was not only a reflection of the king's admiration for Leonardo's genius, but also of Leonardo's status as a revered figure in the world of art and science. Leonardo da Vinci's last years in France were a fitting culmination of his extraordinary life. He spent his final days in a country that appreciated and honored his contributions, in the company of a patron who respected and admired his talents. His life under the patronage of Francis I was a testament to the enduring impact of his work and the universal appeal of his genius. Leonardo's final years in France were not just a period of retirement, they were a continuation of a lifelong journey of creation, discovery, and innovation. Chapter 12, Artistic Mastery. Leonardo da Vinci's approach to painting revolutionized the art world, showcasing a blend of technical mastery and innovative techniques that set his work apart from his contemporaries. His unique methods and meticulous attention to detail contributed to the creation of some of the most renowned artworks in history. Leonardo's painting techniques were a culmination of his vast knowledge in various fields, including science, anatomy, and optics, which he skillfully applied to his art. One of the most notable techniques employed by Leonardo was fumato, a term derived from the Italian word for smoke, fumo. This technique involved the delicate and subtle blending of colors and tones, creating a smoky effect that softened edges and transitions. The sfumato technique allowed Leonardo to achieve a level of realism and depth in his paintings that was unprecedented. It was particularly evident in the way he rendered human faces, most famously in the Mona Lisa, where the enigmatic smile and the soft transitions of light and shadow on the face captivate viewers to this day. Another hallmark of Leonardo's painting technique was his use of chiaroscuro, the contrast between light and dark, to give a sense of volume and three-dimensionality to his subjects. This technique was not just about creating a dramatic effect, it was rooted in Leonardo's deep understanding of light and how it interacts with surfaces. His study of optics and his observations of light in the natural world informed his use of chiaroscuro, enabling him to bring a lifelike quality to his paintings. Leonardo's approach to composition was also groundbreaking. He carefully planned his paintings, often creating detailed preparatory sketches and studies. These sketches were an integral part of his process, allowing him to explore different compositions and ideas before committing to the final painting. Leonardo's compositions were not just aesthetically pleasing, they were carefully constructed to guide the viewer's eye and to convey deeper meanings and narratives. In addition to these techniques, Leonardo's paintings were distinguished by his meticulous attention to detail. His studies in anatomy, botany, and geology enabled him to paint the human body, plants, and landscapes with incredible accuracy and realism. Every detail in his paintings, from the curl of a hair to the vein of a leaf, was rendered with precision and care, reflecting his belief that every part of a painting should contribute to the whole. Leonardo's unique approach to painting was a reflection of his multifaceted personality and his insatiable curiosity about the world. His techniques were not just artistic choices. They were the result of a lifelong pursuit of knowledge and understanding. Through his innovative use of sfumato, chiaroscuro, careful composition, and meticulous detail, Leonardo da Vinci elevated the art of painting, leaving a legacy that continues to influence artists and captivate audiences centuries later. His mastery of painting was not just a demonstration of technical skill, it was an expression of his deep understanding of the world and his place in it. Leonardo da Vinci's impact on the art world extends far beyond his own masterpieces. His innovative techniques, deep understanding of human anatomy, and unique approach to composition and color have profoundly influenced generations of artists and shaped the course of art history. Leonardo's artistic mastery and intellectual curiosity not only redefined Renaissance art, but also laid the groundwork for modern art concepts and practices. One of the most significant ways in which Leonardo influenced art was through his revolutionary painting techniques. His use of sfumato, with its subtle gradations of light and shadow, introduced a new level of realism in portraying human emotions and expressions. This technique profoundly influenced contemporary and future artists, encouraging them to explore more nuanced and realistic ways of depicting their subjects. Leonardo's employment of chiaroscuro, using contrasts of light and dark to create depth and dimension, became a fundamental technique in visual arts, adopted and adapted by countless artists after him. Leonardo's impact was not limited to technical aspects. His approach to the composition also left a lasting mark on the art world. His use of perspective and his ability to create a sense of space and depth in his paintings were revolutionary at the time. Leonardo's understanding of proportion, balance, and harmony in composition guided many artists in creating more dynamic and engaging works. His influence extended to the way artists approached their subjects, encouraging a more comprehensive and in-depth study before painting, which often involved detailed sketches and preparatory drawings. Another area where Leonardo's influence is profoundly felt is in his anatomical studies. His meticulous dissections and understanding of the human body transformed the way artists portrayed the human figure. His anatomical drawings, with their incredible detail and accuracy, became a vital source of knowledge for artists seeking to represent the human form realistically. Leonardo's emphasis on the importance of anatomy in art education set a precedent that continues to be a cornerstone in art schools today. Leonardo's curiosity and his interdisciplinary approach to art and science also had a far-reaching impact. He demonstrated that art was not just about aesthetic appeal, but could also be a medium for exploring and understanding the world. This approach inspired artists to look beyond traditional boundaries and to incorporate insights from other fields into their work, a practice that has become increasingly prominent in contemporary art. Leonardo da Vinci's influence on the art world is immeasurable. He was not just a master of his time, he was a visionary who pushed the boundaries of what art could be. His legacy is evident in the works of countless artists who followed him, from the Renaissance masters to modern-day painters. Leonardo's impact on art is a testament to his genius, a genius that continues to inspire, challenge, and shape the world of art. His life and work represent the pinnacle of artistic achievement, a standard of excellence and innovation that continues to be revered and aspired to by artists around the world. Chapter 13, Scientific Studies of Leonardo da Vinci's groundbreaking work in human anatomy, is a remarkable testament to his insatiable curiosity and interdisciplinary approach. Combining his artistic talents with scientific inquiry, Leonardo embarked on an extensive study of the human body, delving into aspects that were far ahead of his time. His anatomical studies were not merely a side interest, they were a significant part of his life's work, reflecting his belief in the deep connection between art and science. In an era when the dissection of human bodies was often restricted, Leonardo's pursuit of anatomical knowledge was both daring and innovative. He conducted numerous dissections of both humans and animals, meticulously observing and recording the intricate details of muscles, bones, and organs. His approach was empirical and methodical, driven by a desire to understand the inner workings of the body, rather than relying solely on the anatomical texts and theories of his time. Leonardo's anatomical drawings are unparalleled in their detail and accuracy. They were the result of countless hours spent in dissection rooms where he carefully sketched what he observed. These drawings were not only artistic representations, they were scientific explorations capturing the complex structure and mechanics of the human body. His studies covered a wide range of anatomical features, from the skeletal and muscular systems to the organs and the vascular system. One of the most significant contributions Leonardo made through his anatomical studies was his exploration of the human heart. He was among the first to accurately depict the heart's structure, including its chambers and valves. His observations and drawings of the heart contributed to a better understanding of its function, challenging the prevailing misconceptions and inaccuracies of his time. Leonardo's studies extended beyond mere observation. He sought to understand the functional aspects of anatomy. He was particularly interested in the mechanics of the human body, how muscles worked to move bones, how the body maintained balance, and how the systems of the body interacted. This holistic approach to anatomy was revolutionary, combining artistic skill with scientific analysis. Leonardo's work in anatomy also had a profound impact on the field of medical illustration. His drawings set a new standard for anatomical representation, combining clarity, precision, and aesthetic quality. They were not only valuable for artists learning to depict the human form, but also for physicians and anatomists in understanding and teaching anatomy. Leonardo da Vinci's anatomical studies represent a significant contribution to the field of anatomy and to the broader realms of science and art. His work was driven by an unyielding quest for knowledge and a deep appreciation for the complexity of the human body. While much of his anatomical work remained unpublished and unknown during his lifetime, its discovery and subsequent study have underscored Leonardo's role as a pioneer in the field. His anatomical studies are a testament to his genius, a fusion of artistic brilliance and scientific inquiry that continues to inspire and inform. Leonardo da Vinci's scientific pursuits extended well beyond anatomy, encompassing a wide array of fields and demonstrating his extraordinary versatility as a polymath. His relentless curiosity and innovative thinking led him to explore various areas of science, each study reflecting his profound desire to understand the natural world and its underlying principles. One of Leonardo's significant scientific pursuits was in the field of botany. He meticulously studied and sketched numerous plants, flowers, and trees, with a keen interest in their structure, growth patterns, and the relationship between different species. His botanical studies were not just artistic representations, but scientific investigations that sought to understand the life processes of plants and their interactions with their environment. Leonardo was also fascinated by the elements of water and air, dedicating considerable effort to studying their properties and movements. His hydrodynamic studies explored how water flows, how it erodes and shapes the landscape, and how it can be harnessed for human use. He sketched designs for various machines and devices for controlling and utilizing water, such as pumps, canals, and aqueducts. Similarly, his studies of air led him to investigate the principles of flight and aerodynamics. He made numerous sketches of flying machines and devices, drawing inspiration from the anatomy and flight of birds. In the field of mechanics, Leonardo's work was equally groundbreaking. He studied the principles of leverage, force, and motion, and applied these principles to design a variety of mechanical devices and machines. These included designs for cranes, pulleys, gears, and even early concepts of automata. His mechanical studies showcased his ability to apply scientific principles to practical problems, a hallmark of his inventive genius. Leonardo's interest in geology led him to study the formation of rocks, fossils, and the shaping of landscapes. He was one of the first to understand that rocks and fossils were the result of historical processes over long periods, a realization that was far ahead of his time. His geological observations contributed to his landscape paintings, where he depicted rock formations and landscapes with great accuracy and realism. Another area of Leonardo's scientific exploration was optics. He studied the nature of light, color, and vision, seeking to understand how the eye perceives the world. These studies informed his painting techniques, particularly his use of light and shadow, and contributed to the development of perspective in art. Leonardo da Vinci's scientific studies were characterized by a profound interdisciplinary approach. He saw no strict boundaries between different fields of science, art, and technology. His ability to connect observations from various domains into a coherent understanding of the natural world was one of his greatest strengths. Although many of his scientific ideas and theories were not published or widely known during his lifetime, they have since been recognized for their visionary insight and their contribution to the advancement of scientific knowledge. Leonardo's pursuit of scientific knowledge was driven by a deep sense of wonder and a relentless quest for understanding. His scientific studies, covering a wide range of disciplines, are a testament to his extraordinary intellect and his enduring impact on the worlds of science and art. His legacy in these fields remains a powerful testament to the depth and breadth of his genius. Chapter 14, Personal Life and Relationships. Leonardo da Vinci's personal life, much like his work, is a subject of great fascination and intrigue. Known for his immense contributions to art and science, Leonardo's private life was considerably more enigmatic, marked by a sense of solitude and mystery. Despite his fame and the respect he garnered, details about his personal life and relationships remain somewhat elusive, painting a picture of a man as complex and multifaceted in his personal dealings as he was in his professional pursuits. Leonardo was known for his solitary nature. He never married nor had children, and there are few records of any romantic relationships. This aspect of his life has led to much speculation, but the truth remains largely unknown, shrouded by the passage of time. His solitude, however, did not equate to a lack of companionship or friendship. Leonardo had several close associates and pupils who worked with him and shared in his artistic and scientific endeavors. Among these was Francesco Melzi, a student who became a devoted companion in Leonardo's later years and was with him until his death. Leonardo's personality was a study in contrasts. He was described by contemporaries as a man of outstanding physical beauty, charming and eloquent, yet he also had a reputation for being distant and somewhat enigmatic. He was known for his vegetarianism, a rare choice in his time, driven by his love for animals and his belief in the sanctity of all life. His notebooks reveal a man deeply empathetic towards animals, often expressing distress at their suffering. A defining feature of Leonardo's personal life was his unrelenting curiosity and constant pursuit of knowledge. His voracious appetite for learning kept him perpetually engaged, whether in dissecting a human body to understand anatomy or studying the flight of birds. This relentless pursuit often led him to neglect other aspects of his life, including the management of his finances, which were often in disarray. Leonardo's relationships with his patrons were complex and varied. While he enjoyed the patronage of some of the most powerful figures of his time, including the Medici family, Ludovico Sforza, and King Francis I of France, he often had strained relationships with them due to his habit of leaving projects unfinished. His patrons were drawn to his genius but were also often frustrated by his lack of completion and his tendency to become distracted by new ideas and projects. And Leonardo's personal life was as layered and multifaceted as his professional one. He was a man who valued knowledge and discovery above all else, often at the expense of his personal affairs. His life was marked by a sense of mystery and privacy, leaving many details of his personal relationships and experiences a matter of conjecture. Despite the fame and acclaim he achieved during his lifetime, Leonardo remained a deeply private individual, with a life that continues to intrigue and fascinate. His enduring legacy as an artist and scientist is paralleled by the enduring enigma of his personal life, a testament to the complexity of this extraordinary Renaissance man. Leonardo da Vinci's life, as rich and complex as his art, was shaped by a series of important relationships with friends and patrons. These relationships not only provided him with the means to pursue his artistic and scientific interests, but also influenced the course of his life and work. Leonardo's interactions with his patrons and his bonds with friends and pupils paint a picture of a man deeply connected to the social and cultural fabric of his time. One of Leonardo's most significant relationships was with Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan. Sforza was one of Leonardo's most influential patrons, providing him with substantial commissions and a platform to showcase his talents. It was under Sforza's patronage that Leonardo created some of his most renowned works, including The Last Supper. However, this relationship was not without its challenges. Leonardo's tendency to leave projects unfinished often led to tension with Sforza, yet the patronage proved crucial in Leonardo's artistic development. Another key patron in Leonardo's life was Cesare Borgia, the ambitious and ruthless son of Pope Alexander VI. Borgia hired Leonardo as a military engineer, a role that allowed Leonardo to explore his interests in mechanics and engineering. While this relationship was short-lived, it provided Leonardo with a unique perspective on the political and military machinations of the era. Perhaps the most supportive and enduring of Leonardo's patrons was King Francis IV of France. In his final years, Leonardo found a kindred spirit in Francis IV, who provided him with a peaceful residence and a generous pension. This patronage allowed Leonardo to pursue his interests without the pressures of commercial success or completion deadlines. The king's respect and admiration for Leonardo were evident in the care provided to the artist in his final years. Beyond his patrons, Leonardo formed several close friendships and mentorship relationships. Francesco Melzi, a talented young artist, became one of Leonardo's closest companions and pupils. Melzi accompanied Leonardo to France and remained with him until his death, inheriting the artist's papers and works. Melzi's loyalty and dedication were a source of comfort and support for Leonardo in his later years. Leonardo's relationships with his contemporaries, including artists and scientists, were marked by both collaboration and rivalry. His interactions with fellow artists, such as Michelangelo and Raphael, though competitive, were also indicative of the vibrant artistic community in which he was immersed. These relationships, while sometimes fraught, played a significant role in shaping the artistic landscape of the Renaissance. Throughout his life, Leonardo's relationships with friends and patrons were integral to his journey as an artist and scientist. They provided him with the resources and opportunities to explore his vast range of interests and left an indelible mark on his life and work. These relationships, from the supportive to the challenging, from the deeply personal to the strictly professional, offer insight into the world in which Leonardo lived and worked, a world that he helped shape through his extraordinary contributions. Chapter 15. Legacy. Leonardo da Vinci's legacy in the realm of art is immense, with his influence permeating through centuries, deeply impacting future generations of artists. Renowned for his innovative techniques, meticulous attention to detail, and his unique approach to composition and perspective, Leonardo set a standard in art that became a benchmark for artists who followed. Leonardo's influence on later artists can be seen in various aspects of his work. His technique of sfumato, where he created a smoky effect to soften transitions between colors, revolutionized the way artists approached painting. This technique allowed for a more realistic and natural portrayal of subjects, particularly in the rendering of human skin and expressions. Artists, after Leonardo, adopted and adapted this technique, using it to bring a lifelike quality to their work, a quality that was highly sought after. His use of chiaroscuro, the technique of using light and shadow to give the illusion of depth on a flat surface, also had a significant impact. This technique became a fundamental skill in the toolkit of artists, helping them to create more dynamic and dramatic compositions. Leonardo's mastery of chiaroscuro inspired artists to experiment more boldly with contrast and lighting, leading to a greater emphasis on the dramatic interplay of light and dark in painting. Leonardo's approach to anatomy and his dedication to accurately depicting the human body had a lasting influence on the art world. His detailed anatomical studies, based on dissections, provided a wealth of knowledge that was invaluable to artists interested in realism. His drawings and notes on muscles, bone structure and human proportions helped to improve the accuracy and realism of human figures in art, a contribution that has been foundational in art education. Furthermore, Leonardo's interdisciplinary approach to art and science inspired artists to broaden their horizons. He demonstrated that a deeper understanding of the world, whether it be through studies in botany, geology or physics, could enrich an artist's work. This approach encouraged artists to become more observant, curious, and knowledgeable, not just about art, but about the world in general. Leonardo's influence extended beyond technical skills and into the realm of creativity and imagination. His inventive designs, concepts, and the sheer breadth of his interests inspired artists to be more innovative and imaginative. He showed that art was not just about replicating the world as it is seen, but also about envisioning and creating things that could be. Leonardo da Vinci's legacy as an artist is characterized by his enduring influence on generations of artists. His innovations in painting techniques, his commitment to realism and accuracy in anatomy, and his boundless curiosity and creativity have made him a timeless figure in the art world. Artists throughout history have looked to Leonardo not just for technical guidance, but for inspiration in their quest to push the boundaries of what art can be. His impact is a testament to his genius, a genius that continues to resonate and inspire in the world of art. Leonardo da Vinci's legacy in the modern world is as enduring as it is profound, transcending the boundaries of time and continuing to influence various fields of study and aspects of contemporary culture. He is remembered not just as a great artist and scientist of the Renaissance, but as a symbol of human creativity and curiosity. Leonardo's works, ideas, and life story continue to captivate and inspire, making him a figure of enduring fascination and admiration. In the world of art, Leonardo's paintings, such as the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper, remain some of the most revered and studied works. They are celebrated for their technical brilliance and emotional depth, and continue to draw millions of visitors to museums and galleries worldwide. His artistic techniques, particularly his use of sfumato and chiaroscuro, have been studied and emulated by artists for centuries and remain integral to art education today. Leonardo's impact extends well beyond the sphere of traditional art. His approach to combining art with scientific inquiry has influenced modern interdisciplinary studies, encouraging a blend of creativity and scientific exploration. In fields such as medical illustration, Leonardo's anatomical drawings are still regarded as some of the most precise and insightful studies of the human body. His sketches and designs, encompassing everything from mechanical inventions to urban planning ideas, are celebrated for their visionary qualities and are often referenced in discussions on innovation and creativity. In popular culture, Leonardo da Vinci has become an iconic figure, often symbolizing the archetype of the Renaissance man, someone whose expertise spans a significant number of different subject areas. He features in literature, film and television, often portrayed as a figure of mystery and brilliancy. His life and work have inspired novels, movies, and documentaries, reflecting the widespread and enduring fascination with his genius. Leonardo's notebooks, filled with sketches, scientific diagrams, and personal observations, offer invaluable insights into his thought process and are considered treasures in their own right. They continue to be studied by scholars and enthusiasts for their wealth of information and their glimpse into the mind of a genius. In addition to his tangible contributions, Leonardo's greatest legacy may be the inspiration he provides for the relentless pursuit of knowledge and the fusion of imagination with empirical inquiry. His life story is a testament to the power of curiosity and the endless possibilities that arise from a commitment to learning and exploration. In schools and universities, Leonardo is often held up as an example of the limitless potential of the human mind and the importance of nurturing creativity and intellectual curiosity. Leonardo da Vinci's enduring legacy in the modern world is a reflection of his extraordinary life and work. He remains a beacon of inspiration, a symbol of the intertwining of art and science, and a reminder of the incredible achievements that are possible when curiosity and passion drive human endeavor. His influence is felt not just in the specific fields he excelled in, but in the broader pursuit of knowledge and understanding that defines the human experience. Chapter 16. Unraveling Mysteries. Leonardo da Vinci's life and work are shrouded in mysteries and controversies that have captivated scholars, historians, and the general public for centuries.